Hello, my name's Scott. I'm a professional magician and this is a magic review.
It's a kind of magic.
This is what we're talking about. We're about to go into May, and I said in February this year that 2025 was going to be a big year for magic and we were going to have lots of great releases. So for that reason, I want to make a toast to everyone in the magic community. Here we go, a nice little toast with a shot of Woodford Reserve whiskey. So cheers to you and cheers to the rest of the year being a great year for more magic releases that are absolute bangers. And also remember, there are a variety of exclusive discounts from me to you in the video description and also the top pinned comment. Making a purchase through any one of those links does directly support my channel and it helps me create more reviews. But today we are looking at Max Shot by Sinbad Max and Ochiu Magic. And my TLDR on Max Shot by Sinbad Max and Ochiu Magic is that it's phenomenal. This is a complete system and it allows you to vanish shot glasses, produce shot glasses, it allows you to do a whole variety of other things and it has lots of possibilities. I also recommend, if you do want to pick this up, that you purchase an additional silicone shot glass to go with it, because there's something so clever that they teach on a tutorial, and I will probably have to place an order for one of those at some point because I think it's such a clever routine. I will probably have to purchase 2 extra silicone shot glasses so that I can do everything, but I do recommend that. And I do recommend the product. It has my full blessing and seal of approval. There is no better complete option for producing a filled shot glass currently in 2025 in the magic market. And that's my TLDR on Max Shot. What is it though? It's more than just a clip and a way of producing a shot. For me, this is a full system and it works for both people who have never done this kind of thing before, and it also works for professional magicians. Basically, everything has been thought out here. And Sinbad, from what I understand, works in a magic bar, or owns a magic bar in Japan, I think. So this is something that comes from his working daily life as a magician slash barman slash business owner. And he clearly has put a lot of thought into this. So what I would say this is, in a short sentence, is a complete system of vanishing, of producing shot glasses, that are full of liquid, in terms of opening possibilities to a variety of different routines where you can produce a shot glass from nothing, from your bare hands if you wanted to, and then you can suddenly have that shot glass full of liquid. So there's actually 2 effects in one there: the production of the shot glass and then the appearance of the liquid. And I hope that I have adequately described what Max Shot is there in the what is it section. What do you get when you purchase Max Shot? You receive, of course, the box, the packaging. You receive 1 real shot glass, and then you receive 1 high grade, food grade silicone shot glass. And this is a very soft shot glass. It's, as I say, food grade, so it's completely non-toxic and there is no contamination here to plastics or anything like that. Well, silicone is its own material, so it's not made out of plastic at all. And that's what you receive in terms of the shot glasses. You then also receive this handkerchief that I used in the beginning in the performance. It's okay. I would say it's a little bit too big, but at least they provide you with that so that you can get started. And then you also receive this microfiber cloth. This is to clean your silicone shot glass. And then you receive 2 caps. One just here that will be on your silicone shot glass, and then you receive another one that also has a clip on it, like so. And in addition to that, you receive 50 minutes of expert instructions that take you through everything you need to know, from a little bit of care and maintenance of your shot glasses to a variety of methods. One of my favorites, and this is why I mentioned it in the TLDR, that I'm probably at some point going to have to order a couple more silicone shot glasses, is because there's a routine where you have a smash and stab style presentation where you have 2 bags or 2 napkins, and one of them has a broken shot glass, and you put your hand down on the other, and then you show the other one to be the one that, in the 50-50 Russian roulette choice, you would have really damaged your hand if you put your hand down on that one. And it's just such a genius thing. But in terms of the 50 minutes of instructions that you receive, it's fully comprehensive and they give you tons of ideas to get you started. but there's so much more to explore with this as well. I think I've covered everything that you receive with Max Shot there. If I have left anything off, any additions will be left in the top pinned comment, but I think I've covered everything that you receive when you purchase Max Shot. And how easy is it to perform? It's going to take some practice, and I would say that realistically you have to be somewhat of a competent magician and also competent performer. You have to have some experience in performing. You will need to take time if you haven't handled this kind of production before with a shot glass. And there are some really lovely moves that you saw at the beginning of this review when I produced the shot glass, where you can show your hand completely empty and then you lift up the napkin or tissue or cloth or whatever, handkerchief, and then you just drop it and suddenly it's right there, it's just appeared. So I think that these kinds of moves, you do need some experience as a magician, and I would put this at an intermediate level for the skill level required, because there's also a little bit of audience management. There's also a little bit of underlying confidence that you need to be able to pull it off. And if you do start fiddling, it is going to not be very good. That being said, I do think that if you're at the lower end of skill, and if you're at the more beginner, more basic skill level, certainly you can perform this. And certainly you can do it with non-alcoholic drinks, and you can do it with still juices or things like this, which I'm going to touch on the specific liquids in the final thoughts. But you can produce things to make it safe for a non-drinking audience or a teetotal audience. But for that lower skill level bracket of magicians, you will need to put in a little bit of practice to properly get this looking like a miracle. So yes, I've gone on about this for too long, but it's an intermediate magic trick in my opinion. And the reset time, which is it's an easy one because it only takes maybe 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 50, maybe 60 seconds to reset. So it's just a short time to reset, but it's not one of those things that you're going to perform and then reset and perform again. It's a one-off thing. So I'm not entirely sure how relevant the reset time is to this, but it is very short. One thing I will mention as we're in the reset time section now is that after you've produced a shot, because it will have moved around and some parts of it will be wet, it is important to make sure that you clean this and you clean the top of the shot glass to make sure that they're both dry so that it maintains a solid seal, because if they are wet, then that can lead to spillages and it can lead to the top coming off. So do make sure before you set this up and before you perform it, everything is dry and there is no moisture around the top of the shot glass or on the inside of the lid. Hopefully that has covered reset time for you. You just fill it up, you pop this back on, and then you put it wherever you want to put it, in your pocket, or they have a really nice solution for if you don't want to load it from your upper torso in your trousers. And I think that that's genius. But again, I'm derailing myself from this section. Maybe I'll touch on that in the final thoughts. Reset time is very fast for this, if you did want to perform it again for any specific reason. And the angles are really good for this, actually. I think that probably you could get away with this, depending on your handling, you could get away with it 360 degrees. I think that when you have this, and especially with a handkerchief this size, when you pull it back like this, you have such good angles and there's nothing really to worry about. But then also the other load that they teach, which is from your trousers, the angles are even better from that. Certainly, I think you can get away with that 360 degrees, and I don't think anyone is going to notice you loading it. So I think in terms of the angles, this is so good and up there in the best possible solutions for shot glass productions and also like liquid productions. And that's one of the reasons why I recommend this so highly, because the angles, the reset time, everything is just up there, and this is such a good, well thought out product. And from angles to pocket space, the pocket space is even better than the angles. And the reason I say that is because, one, if you're going to use the silicone shot glass in your routine and in your presentation, that collapses really small, so it takes up really no pocket space. And then this, because of how everything is built, it can just sit inside your inner pocket, or it can sit inside your trouser pocket, or it can be anywhere until you're ready, and then you clip it on wherever you want to clip it on. So it takes up as much pocket space as one shot glass. And that is one of the reasons why I recommend this so highly, because of this ingenious setup that they've come up with and all of the really clever handlings that just give you so many options for the ability to perform this in a lot of different scenarios and a lot of different environments. And now my final thoughts. Let's see, the final thoughts. One of the great things about this is the fact that the pocket load in the trouser pocket means that you can perform this in a t-shirt. You can perform this basically in any kind of clothing. And that is something that I haven't seen very often in these kinds of liquid productions before. Usually you have to have a jacket on and it has to be somewhat big, and there's all kinds of things that look a little bit fishy, and this solves a lot of those problems. And I don't know if these handlings are exclusive to Sinbad, if he's invented them, or if they've been borrowed from other places. I don't know. What I do know is that everything you learn in Max Shot is genius, and it is certainly giving everyone the opportunity to produce a shot glass of some sort of liquid in pretty much any kind of scenario that you wanted. But that does bring me back to the point where I said you could produce a juice or something like that. They do recommend in the instructions that you don't use carbonated drinks and you don't use fresh juices. I assume that is one, for the gas that's produced from carbonated drinks. That could mean that the seal isn't properly sealed, and two, because the sugar in juices and also some carbonated drinks will make everything very sticky and you'll have to clean everything. So I would recommend, if you want to produce something like, I don't know, Coca-Cola, you put a little bit of Coca-Cola in maybe and then dilute 80% of it with water. So you can still get the taste of Coca-Cola if you wanted to give it to someone, but you're not running the risk of ruining your gimmick. And I don't think there's much more I can add to this in my final thoughts. I think it's brilliant. I think it's well made. I think that you should also add a couple more silicone shot glasses to your order if you do go ahead and order this. I would like to say thank you to Ochiu Magic for sending this to me. They're doing great things. They really are producing really high quality magic, and I feel like from some of the products recently, magic is finally stepping forward into the 21st century of quality of manufacturing. And I'm so happy to see that, and I'm so happy that I don't have to talk about products because of their quality or because they break really quickly. And I love the fact that in most of my reviews recently, I can actually be excited because I'm going to use these things, and I'm also looking forward to using these things because they're so well made and there's so much potential and there's so much work and time and effort that some producers of magic, and I would say actually most producers of magic, are doing and putting into their products these days. That's everything, I think. As I say, thank you to Ochiu Magic for sending this to me so that I could provide a review for you today. I hope I've answered everything that you could possibly want to know when thinking about purchasing this. But if you have any questions, leave it in a comment below. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.